Nope.
That's us reenacting our baby pictures. But hey, you doing, Jex? Happy Easter.
Happy Easter. Happy Good Friday, Mike. Welcome, everyone, to our second annual Good Friday show.
This is it. This is the second annual. And I
Guaranteed.
would, much like the last one, I would like to start this one by doing an unboxing of a TeePublic recent arrival, if that's okay with you.
I mean, I'll allow it.
Okay. At teepublic.com, you can get your Grab a Stack of Rock, Tim's Vinyl Confessions, The Contrarians, Visions in the Sound, and Too Loud, TooOldMusic.com merch. And we have the brand new Faces shirt in orange. I wasn't sure how that's going to... Well, I guess I'm walking onto a construction site. But there we go. There's the brand new Faces shirt. I've already sold 4 of these, not including this one. Nice. Hey, there's you! You made it onto the shirt again, Jax.
I feel honored. That's a good looking shirt. That's a good looking bunch right there.
We have some comments. We have Henry in the house. Hello, Henry. Good to see you.
Henry.
Darcy. And Darcy, I just did an episode of his What's Good on his channel, so check that out.
I still need to watch that one.
And we have Roger, who has submitted a guest list for today, not offending anyone in the audience at all. Never put my... Okay, all right, no problem, bud.
No, it's gonna happen. I was never asked. I don't
ask.
I have to be okay with it. You know, that's just how it goes.
So, Jax, this shirt's getting donated to a place where they can help out people in need. I'm going to change into the brand new shirt if you want to just take over for 30 seconds.
Okay, I think I could do it.
Okay, why don't you introduce the topic of today?
Okay, sure. All right, and I just want to let the viewers know that this edition of the Good Friday special is going to have a lot less cleavage than the last edition. But you know what? It's okay. For what this episode lacks in cleavage, we're going to make up for with good humor, with charm, and with stellar tunes. So stay tuned. The topic at hand today is our top 5 albums from our birth years. So we're talking 1972 for Mike, 1985 for me. Bit of a little age gap, but that's okay. That's going to mean variety. So I'm very much looking forward to it. I don't know what to expect from Mike. So, yeah, as soon as, look at that.
Looking good. How can you not, with John Clauser in the middle there, Peter Kerr on this side here, Mike Slan on this side, and then the second row we have Jex Russell, Dr. Catherine Ladano, myself, Spencer Rice, and the man that I would like to dedicate today's show to, Mr. Harrison Kopp, my usual Grab a Stack of Rock mad metal man, but he is battling an illness. He will be back, though, people. I assure you, he will be. And when he does, it's his topic of choice, and we've already discussed it, and he's eager to come back. So
we miss
this one's for you, Harrison. Happy Easter, at least as much as you can.
I mean, I'm in good company on that shirt, I gotta say.
Yeah, right there, that top row, man. It's like, look at those guys.
Legend.
the faces that sold 1,000 shirts. Not there yet, Darcy. Not there yet.
All in good time.
I apologize, but the smash. Sorry. So I assume you introduced the topic of today.
I did. I said we're going to be talking about our top 5 albums from our birth years. Are you expecting an important call there? You want to get that?
Oh, he took the needle off Scorpions Love Drives to wow, Brian. Thank you so much.
We better make this good. I'm
going to tell you, Brian, just a word of advice. Hang around for at least my first pick then.
Oh, all righty.
Well, do you want to get started with your first pick? I'm going to read 2 guest lists as we go along, but not necessarily right now.
Okay, but before we get into it,
before
we get into our list, I got to say I came prepared this time. I come with a surprise.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna do a little something unexpected, if that's okay.
Okay.
Which
I'm doing something a little bit of a surprise too, but not necessarily unexpected. For the first time ever, for each of these releases that I'll be showing off today, I'm going to show off every copy that I own.
Oh,
which isn't necessarily a lot, but I've never done that before. So.
Okay. Well, my surprise, I'm expecting it. It should arrive in good time. Should arrive shortly.
Okay, that's cryptic.
But should we cue up the song? Maybe Cinco de Listo.
Yeah, actually, I didn't think of that because I forgot that this is a Cinco de Listo, meaning we're doing a top 5 today. So here's Cinco de Listo, and then Jex is going to go with his number 5 pick.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You got my fingers in a fishbowl. Cinco de Listo. The pentagram made of crystal. Cinco de Listo. Got buckles left in the pistol. Cinco de Listo. One bullet shy of a pistol. Cinco de Listo. Cinco de Listo. Cinco de Listo. Cinco de Listo.
Okay. Did you send this link to anyone?
I don't know. What do you see?
We have somebody in the waiting room. Should I let this person in? I don't
Let
know who
them
it
in.
is. But please welcome to the stage, Chaim Vitz. Hello, Chaim.
Hey, everyone.
Surprise!
I'm short of breath here. Uncle me.
Hey, me.
There he is.
Good to see you, brother.
Grizzly
Gene
Adams in the
Simmons.
flesh.
Oh,
There it is.
He's having struggling with his connection, but there he is.
this
Cheers. And for the in person, it's funny. I'm not sure who made it up, but lately I've been called Kurt Russell's much less successful brother, Hurt Russell. So I guess that's.
I don't know. I mean, you've got some Kyle Gass going on below the nose, but then from like above, I don't know what's going on there.
Yeah,
it's majestic.
It's a lot of
It is
things.
majestic.
And-
It is majestic.
Jax, I have a question for you. I've always wanted to ask this. Is your real name Jax? Is that your name?
No, it's a nickname.
Jax.
I have a very.
What is your name?
It's Jean Xavier. John Xavier, basically. Very French name.
Oh, he
And,
comes out
nice.
publicly.
Very. That's very Jax, actually. Yeah, that works.
Right. My sisters came up with it when I was about 10 years old because I always struggled, English people always struggled understanding my name. I was a shy kid. So finally they're like, just say Jax. It's like a condensed version. I'm like, okay. So I don't think I've
Nice.
ever disclosed it publicly, but
There
now
it
you
is.
know.
So
It's
you
out
do
there.
realize-
First, grab a sack of rock.
So you do realize that now we are representing 3 different decades with our list because I'm 1969.
Holy shit!
Yeah.
There you go.
Wow.
Mike, this has been in the works for like over a month now. I think we've been planning this. This was Meat's doing. This was Meat's idea.
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
Well,
Wow.
no, it was your idea to do, and I just gave you 6 topics, and I said choose one.
Right.
And
So the
basically-
topic we're doing
Yeah.
is one that Meat came up with. So we got to give him credit here.
Wait a second.
Yeah.
Wait a second. So you mean to say when about a month and a half to 2 months ago, when I messaged you and said,
Yeah.
Jex, we need to settle on a subject for our Easter show, and you said, how about our birth years? That's how long ago you were planning this? Oh, fuck.
At least,
Hang on, hang on.
Yeah, for-
Brian has a comment. The joke. Exactly. That's exactly what happened. So I can tell you right now, I'm going to tell you 2 things. This show's going overtime. and second of 2 things is this is not my first coffee. This is my first of multiples. So get ready. I got to go actually adjust the heat because I'm getting blasted with heat right now. So I'm going to go adjust the heat. Jax, start us off then with
Okay.
your.
It was
number
funny
5.
because I saw someone in the comments say something about Jack Black, and I definitely had a bit of a Jack Black.
Yes, it was this comment right here. Okay, I'm going to go turn off the heat and I'll be right back.
I see it. You're like all of Tenacious D in one.
Yeah, no, fair enough.
All
So
right,
yeah, well, it worked. It worked.
I
It
know.
worked. He didn't know. There you go.
You had no clue. Meat kept. Oh, he's got no headphones. Meat kept messaging me. It was like, "Do you think he knows? Did you hint anything?" I said absolutely nothing. He has no clue.
I was gonna message him, ask him to submit a guest list, but then Harrison sent his and Roger sent his, and I was like, no, I'm not gonna bother this time. But anyway,
All right. Well, we got a lot of lists.
Gotcha.
Better get. All right. So my number 5, I think it's the only thing I have that's not hard rock or metal, but I don't even know. I never knew how to qualify these guys. Oingo Boingo, Dead Man's Party. I mean,
that's a Harrison band right there.
I know. I've always just qualified this as the mind of Danny Elfman. This is what goes on in his mind in music form. So yeah, I thought this was 1986 until I looked at the list. But it's 1985. Well, it's got to go on there. So this is like essential Oingo Boingo right here. Weird Science from the motion picture.
Of course.
That's the last track on here. You know, I love Dead Man's Party. No One Lives Forever, probably one of my favorite tracks on here. It's just such a, I don't know, it's such a weird, funky experience, and I dig it. I never get tired of this one. That's actually the only Boingo I have. Yeah, that's it. That's my number 5, guys.
So before we get to Uncle
Very
Meat,
cool.
I was struck with a moment of inspiration, which is for tomorrow when I usually post a summary post with the video link. I'm going to just put Meat's face in with the 2 baby faces and pretend, act like that's his baby picture. How's that?
He hasn't changed.
That's pretty funny, actually.
Yeah, he's born with a
Pretty
beard. All right. So Meat, sorry, you said 69?
Yeah, 1969, November 22nd, 1969. It's almost too
Well,
bad.
you didn't have to give us that because now there's a hacker in Iran right now that's got your banking information because you said that. So,
Well, that's it ain't worth the trouble. That's all I gotta. So it's like this. 1970 is full of stuff, like so full of stuff. And 1969, you know, the way I went, it was what I like now, not necessarily what I think are the best albums from 1969. For example, there were 2 Led Zeppelin albums that were released in 1969, and neither of them made my list. I mean, I like Led Zeppelin. I'm not a huge Led Zeppelin guy. But like, I mean, if I were to rank the Led Zeppelin albums, the first 2 albums would be at the bottom of my list anyway. So they're like, it's just the way. And the Rolling Stones, they have Let It Bleed, and I'm not a big Stones fan, so those are not on my list. So my number 5. Oh, and by the way, I had to send photos to Jax because I couldn't send them to you because that would kind of ruin the surprise. So my number 5 is an album called At San Quentin by Mr. Johnny Cash. A great live album. I have always personally preferred this to Live at Folsom Prison. There's something about the feel of the whole album. And
if any of the guards are still talking to me, would you bring me a glass of water? That's the best line in the whole album.
It just seems more real. And I mean, alone for the live performance of A Boy Named Sue to a raucous crowd of criminals is pretty
the definitive version.
Electric. And so it's my number 5, Cash, At San Quentin.
San Quentin, I hate every inch of you.
Which I did send you the picture of. Is it possible for you to put that up? Oh, that's what you did. Oh, I thought you were going to do it the way that he did it.
He doesn't have access.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have controls.
So on a
That's
personal
perfect.
note, I have that box set somewhere behind me. The
Cool.
3-disc edition, I think it is. It's one of my favorite live albums of all time. It might have made one of those past live album lists way back in the day. That's fucking
Yeah, I can
brilliant.
see that. Yeah, so number 5, there you go.
That's boom right in the heart. I'm gonna get Roger's top 5 list before I do my number 5, but here's his top 5.
Okay.
From 5 down to 1. Slayer, South of Heaven.
Wait, what year? What year is
88, sorry.
Okay.
88.
Yeah.
It's a good year for heavy thrash metal, let me tell you. Slayer, South of Heaven.
I love that.
King Diamond, Them. Metallica. Little album called And Justice for All. Danzig's self-titled debut.
Right.
And number 1, Halloween, Keeper of the Seven Keys, Part 2. So
Nice
kudos to Roger. And he also pointed out that he didn't put Metallica at number 1. So
Good.
All killer.
Oh, Darcy is also 88. And if you want to leave your list in the comments as we go, Darcy, please do. So I'm 1972, and I hope you appreciate my first pick, which came out of West Germany. And this band was formed by a singer by the name of Klaus Mein and the Schenker Brothers. They released an album that for years I did not like. Didn't like this album for years. I got it in my last year of high school, so I would have been 18 years old. And I found it at the local Zeller store at the mall. And it's weird. This is not Scorpions that people know today. You know, the people who expect them to say, Southern California, you know how to party. This is not that kind of rock. This is way more psychedelic. A lot of wah-wah pedal, a lot of soloing. Really weird, kind of like choir vocals on a lot of stuff. There's a 13-minute song here called Lonesome Crow. A lot of different tempo changes, walking bass lines. Essentially, this band broke up, and another band with 2 of the same members formed called Scorpions with a new lineup featuring Uli John Roth on lead guitar. This is actually their only studio album with Michael Schenker as sort of like the feature soloist. He appeared later on Love Drive, but it was part of a guitar trio with Matthias Jobs as well.
Isn't he like 15?
Oh, yeah, he's like really young.
On
Something
that
ridiculous, 15, 16, yeah. There's no pictures inside of the band, but there's a video for I'm Going Mad. I'm going mad. I'm going mad. Aye! You know, it's like, and they're playing in like this quarry somewhere in Germany, and they're so young. And
speaking of video, I should point this out. I just realized this like 2 days ago. I haven't watched any of it though. But I realized that the Scorpions have released on YouTube many documentaries on every album. Like, and I clicked on a couple, and it's in English. They're talking in English, like with Yuli and Jazz and all that, and it's every album. So
yeah,
that's
they did that when
watch.
they did that in 2022 when Rock Believer was released. They started releasing those in increments.
Okay.
And Brian is going to see the Scorpions in residency in Vegas. That's pretty cool.
Nice.
Darcy's coming in with that's a hell of an album from '88, Seventh Son of a Seventh Son.
Great start.
Hard to beat that album
that's I think Roger's commenting on my scope. Hey man, you listen to Worldwide Live, and I think you'll appreciate my impression.
So was that the first Scorpions album, the one you showed?
That's the debut. 1972 Metronome Music, Hamburg, West Germany. This is a 1989 Rhino reissue, and I can't remember too much of the other details. The band members at this point were Michael Schenker, Rudolf Schenker, Klaus Mein, Wolfgang Dziani, and Lothar Heimberg. Those 2 guys after this album kaput, and then they got in some other fellows like Francis Buchholz. I'm butchering this accent. I'm going to stop talking.
I was going to say, keep it for the whole episode.
No. You go with your number 4.
Is there a reason why this Stevie Wonder album is continually on the screen?
Well, I can change the backdrop, but it's just that's
just wondering.
It's just
it's
the
part
backdrop.
of the. I see.
Yeah.
No, they're totally. I was just curious. I was wondering if they were just left there, but now I see what it was.
Hey, spoiler alert! Stevie Wonder Talking Book is in my runners-up, but didn't make my final list. It was a decoy. It was a red herring all along.
It's clickbait. That's clickbait.
Clickbait.
All right.
Oh yes, and also Sebastian Bach did a fantastic Scorpions impression on Trailer Park Boys.
All right, let's go with my number 4. I feel like my number 4 was an important part of both your teenage years. Just a gut feeling. It would have been, if I was a teenager in '85, I would have been all over this.
Yeah,
not for me, Swan. not for me, son, but that is up Ladano's alley.
That's that was the new Kiss album the year that I got into Kiss. So
Right.
yeah, I mean that was a big one for me.
Yeah, so I don't really have much. I think we all know this one. Everyone who's watching, they know this one. It was the first official album with Kulik.
Yep.
So he had a good run with Kiss. I love King of the Mountain, great opener. Any way you slice it. What was the song I got shit for? Oh, Tears Are Falling. It made my least favorite list, not hated, least favorite, and I got a lot of grief for saying that. But I still like the song, guys. Least favorite is not hate. But yeah, overall, this is a great album. Great album. My number 4.
For me, it's closer to hate. It's closer to hate.
Oh, okay.
Than anything. It's that pocket. Crazy Nights, Asylum, Hot in the Shade. Yeah, not for me.
Okay.
But
Roger had forgotten
why-
all about that until now.
that's why music is subjective. So is it my turn?
It is. You're number 4.
Number 4.
Sure. Okay, my number 4. I think everybody has went through at some point, or most people have went through a phase of a certain band called Doors, and I definitely in the early '90s, the Doors were a big deal to me, big time. And it's weird because the only album that I didn't own on CD was the Soft Parade. I only had a cassette of it, and it was a kind of a bad recording. And I always thought, oh, Soft Parade is the Doors' weakest album. And later on, I realized, no, that's a great album. It's a fantastic album. A Shaman's Blues, Wishful Thinking, Touch Me. There's just great stuff on that album, and it had to be on my list for my number 4 in 1969. I was so into the Doors, like
I still am. That vocal intro to I think it's the title track, when it goes, "You cannot petition the Lord with prayer."
it's pretty wild.
Oh,
It's weird for the Doors for me because like in grade 8, I did a book report of No One Here Gets Out Alive, which is a biography. Like that's grade 8. And I remember in grade 12, I went to school and realized that there was a book report due that I didn't even think about. And I jotted down some stuff and did an audio book report of No One Here Gets Out Alive 4 or 5 years later, just off the cuff, just because I just was so into the Doors. So
nice.
They had to be on my list.
Cool.
Well, I guess I'm going to go next with Harrison's list. Now, Harrison, being the unicorn that he is, broke the rules again. I think his. I'm not sure which of these is his birth year, but basically he said, there's not enough albums in my birth year, so I'm just going to pick 3 years. So he picked 98, 99, and 2000. So basically, Harrison says the entire period of music from 98 to 99 to 2000, there's only 5 good albums, is what he's saying, okay?
And so 4 of them are Blaze Bayley albums?
Right, here we go. Number 5 is Iron Maiden, Brave New World, year 2000. Number 4 is Blaze Bayley, Silicon Messiah, year 2000. Number 3 is Black Sabbath Reunion, a live album from 1998. Number 2 is Iron Maiden, Virtual 11, featuring Blaze Bayley on lead vocals, 1998. And number 1, coming in with a shocker, John Williams, the Phantom Menace soundtrack at number 1.
That is a shocker.
And then he says he has an honorable mention, was that Sabaton formed in 1998, but didn't release, formed in 1999, but didn't release anything that year. So
leave it to Harrison.
Harrison, cop the unicorn. We love you, buddy. Okay, so this is kind of funny because obviously I wasn't in on what was happening today. My number 4 is an album that this man has some history with, and I was going to run a video. So let's run the video.
Some useful breaks were made in the Bosworth and District Snooker League matches this week.
See, this is the newspaper that comes inside of the double disc here of my number one pick.
Actually, that's a single disc.
Oh,
It's
it
just
is
the deluxe.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's because it's got this fucking newspaper in
Yeah.
it and other things. This is Jethro Tull, Thick as a Brick. Obviously, one of the greatest albums, both in sound and in packaging. The first thing I want to say about this is I remember being about 11 years old-ish and actually selling my dad's copy of this on vinyl, first issue, with the huge newspaper in it. I had to go down and go to the local arcade to play Galaga, and that's pretty poor. But the reason why it's number one in this is I once made a deal with a coworker, basically the deal was that we both got to play one song, and I got to play mine first. So I put this on, and I believe it's about probably 40 minutes.
40 to 42.
Yeah. So this was my one song, and small triumphs are small triumphs, but they're still a triumph.
One of my favorite stories of all time. And that, just for some backup information there, basically the idea was 15 minutes before closing at the record store, each person would pick a song, and that would take him to closing. Well, he picked a 42-minute song, which took him into closing and through to cash out and locking up the door. And the recipient of that was a girl that we kind of mutually feel the same about.
So, Mike, you were going to play that. You were going to play that clip no matter what.
I had that clip queued up for my number 4 pick, which is Thick as a Brick. Aaron bought me this copy. This is a half-speed cut master. Bought this for my 50th birthday on the 50th anniversary of Thick as a Brick, which was really cool. I have taken the newspaper out, but I'm not going to because, obvious reasons.
Yeah.
It sounds beautiful. This is the Steven Wilson remix, and it sounds amazing. I was just playing it.
That's cool.
Yeah, I was just playing it before we went live. And, there's jazzy passages, and there's drum solos, and there's percussion, and there's this, that. There's 4 or 5 different sections. Here's the infamous version that we saw in that video there, which comes with a miniature newspaper. Comes with 2 bonus tracks as well. Comes with a live version of Thick as a Brick, 11 minutes at Madison Square Garden 78. And it comes with an interview with Ian Anderson, Martin Barr, and Jeffrey Hammond. And it even comes with this EMI 100th anniversary catalog. Crazy. But this had to be on my list, I think. It's one of the most important albums of 72, in my opinion. I used to think that guy on the front cover was Winston Churchill, incidentally, but it's not. What can I say? I'm rather thick, pun intended, when it comes to progressive rock. I realize this more and more as I talk to guys like, say, Todd Evans on Facebook and all these fellows that are, far more educated on progressive rock. And I know that 70% of this is probably going straight over my head, both lyrically and musically, instrumentally. There's probably passages that are recurring that I'm not picking up on because I'm not musically educated in that way or inclined that way. My brain is more wired to pick up on melodies and grooves and stuff like that. But I try to stretch my brain using progressive rock and classical music. And I think that this is really fun. I played it again this morning, this afternoon before we went live. Enjoyed it thoroughly. I've got certain passages that are repeating in my head now, these really fast staccato percussion bits, and almost dropped it. And it's a great album, no matter which version you get. But that Steven Wilson remix is really bright. It sounds fantastic and fresh. I recommend that 50th anniversary.
I haven't listened.
I've been trying for years to get you more into other prog. I've tried to talk you into Yes and Genesis. It's just not necessarily your bag. It's just the way it is. Like, that's the truth. Like, there are certain things that people they're just not into. It's not style wise, whatever. Yeah.
You have Brian. I do have an original Fu Manchu album. Yep, that came from a guy by the name of Joe Perry. And Darcy's got the CD DVD reissue, which I think that's a version that I want because I believe you get a 5.1 mix in there, which I'd like to hear.
Yeah, Yeah,
Aqualung. I mean, hey, Henry, if I was born another year, perhaps Aqualung would have been on my list.
they're both great.
And Henry is also one of those fellows that probably, understands the genre more than I can. But anyway, that's my number 4. And, as Meat said, some people are just more inclined one way or another. But I do try to stretch my brain a little bit with music like this and some other more challenging stuff. And Darcy says, yes, that's the one. So, yeah, I would like that version that you have, Darcy. Jax, it is your turn. It is in your number 3. Your numéro 3, as they say in some parts of New Brunswick.
We're going in a whole other direction now, boys. This is not Prague. This is not even a fan favorite when it comes to this band, but it's one of my favorites from them.
I like it.
This is Fly on the Wall, AC/DC. I love this. People complain that it doesn't sound good. And, it's the production is terrible. And to me, that gives it a charm. It's got that raw sound that I just dig it. I think the songs sound amazing. I think really catchy songs like Shake Your Foundations. I never get tired of it. First Blood, Danger, Sink the Pink, Playing with Girls, which I just love when Brian Johnson opens up that song with a it's this is AC/DC the way I like it. I think I like it because it's not one of their bigger albums that's overplayed. Like, you don't really hear these on the radio ever, so that's why 2 of my favorite AC/DC albums are this one and Power Ridge. You never hear anything from Power Ridge play anywhere. So yeah, this had to make my list. This was a no-brainer.
Yeah, it's good album.
My opinion.
That might be their last. There's kind of the fall off kind of probably happened just after that, somewhat.
Yeah, with Blow Up Your Video. Yeah. My opinion is that they should consider remixing that album, kind of pulling back on the amount of echo, because there's a lot of.
Yeah.
It's a little on the mushy side to listen to, and it's hard to make out the lyrics. And I think you could make it a lot sharper. But hey,
I wouldn't mind, as much as I like the rawness, like I mentioned. I wouldn't mind hearing a remix just to see what it would be like.
Well, again, with your list, it's interesting because these are the albums that were brand new the year that I got into heavy metal. So this is interesting for me.
Yeah.
Whereas Uncle Meat's list predate my birth, so they're prehistoric. So yeah. So let's do your number 3.
My number 3. Okay. So this would have never been on my list up until 5 years ago or so. My good friend Bucky, Sausage Fest partner, or whatever, has really introduced a lot of different music to me, funk, soul, R&B stuff, and one of the title track of this album might be my favorite song of 1969, actually. But I'm going to put Sly and the Family Stone, Stand, at number 3. It's such an important album. There are legendary songs on there like Everyday People and Want to Take You Higher, and the stuff that Sly and the Family Stone are playing in the movie Woodstock are from that album. And I don't know if you remember a movie that came out I think it was last year. It won the documentary Oscar for Questlove, because Questlove made a documentary called A Summer of Soul. And most people forget that Questlove won the Oscar because the Oscar was presented to him by Chris Rock right after he got slapped in the face. So, people, I think it kind of got glossed over that Questlove won an Oscar there. But I love the album Stand. It's so damn good, and it had to be in my list. And it was almost higher, just because I've fallen in love with that album. And there's a lot of good Sly Stone, just a lot there. Yeah. Number 3.
I was listening to their greatest hits this week on vinyl. That's all I have from them. I've never really heard their albums, but I actually really dive into their discography because that greatest hits is so good. It's so good, and a lot of the songs you named are on the greatest hits. So chances are,
is Stand on the greatest hits?
I believe it is. I've heard the song before, and I feel it was on that one.
I highly recommend people to even just take time out and listen to the 3-minute song of Stan. It sounds like funky Sesame Street to me. It's just happy. It's so happy.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. It's just so good.
Well, that could be said for most of their songs. Sly and the Family Stone. It makes me feel good. It's feel good music. It's upbeat.
Yep.
It's positive.
Yep.
I love it.
Yeah, it's great, amazing. That's my number 3.
Well, just a quick shout out to Aaron, who again bought me this for my 50th birthday. He's a huge Questlove fan. Huge Questlove fan.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. My number 3. Okay, so you guys are going to have to play a little bit of a guessing game. If we had to play a game called Name That Sabbath, because my number 3 pick comes from this box set, the Black Box. Can you quickly name? Can you get it real quick?
72, and it would have to be Paranoid.
It would not.
Master of Reality?
No.
It's 72.
Volume 4?
Volume 4.
Okay, yeah.
Wow.
1972.
Yeah. I always, for some reason, mix up those dates. For some reason, I think that's later, and it's not. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is an interesting edition that you folks, or a lot of folks, might never have seen before. This is, I don't know, about 20 years ago they put out this Black Box, and this is still my go-to for the majority of my Black Sabbath, because they've released deluxe editions of some, but not all. Actually, they have been releasing deluxe editions of more of these, because lo and behold, we have this, and this is a beautiful set.
Wow, that's cool.
I played this whole set at work on Thursday, I think it was, and man, Butterfingers. This is why you don't let me near kids. I drop them. Now, where was the track list for this? I'm sorry, folks. Mr. Clumsy has entered the building. Okay, so we have on disc 1 the original album remastered. Disc 2, we have new mixes, and these are kind of interesting because some of these come with a little studio chatter, alternative takes, false starts, and studio dialogue. Wheels of Confusion, the engineer or producer, is like, what are you going to call this one? And Ozzy just goes, bollocks. Okay, this is bollocks. Take 1. There's some cool stuff on here. There's some instrumentals, Supernaut. You can just let that riff just ring out forever. This is a great album. I'd say the standout tracks are Supernaut, Snowblind, Changes. Those are the standouts for me, but there's some more challenging material on here as well, like St. Vitus Dance.
Under the Sun, St. Vitus Dance, Tomorrow's Dream, Cornucopia, which is a song that I played live many years ago at stages. I love that song. Amazing.
Now, disc 4 on this is an interesting one. Live in the UK 73. This is all new mixes of an old Black Sabbath album called Live at Last. If you guys remember that one, the much maligned Live at Last, which was released sort of without their consent.
And a lot of people had it too. I just remember seeing it all over the place.
I bought a copy at some point in the 90s, and I never thought it was the best sounding live album. Iommi seems to be throwing on a lot of feedback in a lot of the song intros. He lets them begin with a lot of like squealing guitar, and they were pretty heavy into the pharmaceuticals at that point in their career as well. So you gotta cut them some slack. It's a pretty good live set though. So that's a really cool box set to get. If you're looking just for the original Black Sabbath, though. The Black Box. It's a fantastic set too. And this actually comes with a bonus DVD. It comes with the first 8 Ozzy albums and a bonus DVD, Live at the Beat Club, which is the infamous Blue Suede Shoes. The Blue Suede Shoes cover was done at the Beat Club in Germany. And that's on here on a DVD.
Wow.
So there you go. In a long-winded speech, Black Sabbath Volume 4. Is my number 3.
That's awesome.
So, Jex, you're taking us into the top 2. Oh wait, we got comments here too.
Oh, the comments.
It's a bit sorry they stopped doing the 2 discs. Yeah, because they did Black Sabbath the first 3 albums, then they jumped ahead to the Dios. And I'm not even really sure what's still left to be reissued in the deluxe. I think Never Say Die might be the only one that still needs to be reissued in some kind of deluxe form at this point. Volume 4 and Master of Reality, the Foundation of Doom Metal. Hard to argue with that. It's very sludgy and oh, it's so good though.
Yeah, Master of Reality is my favorite Sabbath album. It's just so good.
I have this as well. It's on the Black Sabbath Past Lives 2 CD set. And there you go. And hey, Grant, how you doing, buddy?
Hey.
We are doing the top
Grant.
5 albums from our birth years. And I have a super secret recording with Grant coming up soon on Grant's Rock Warehouse. So stay tuned.
Really?
Yeah.
Super secret.
Well, it's not super secret, but it's a little secret. Yeah.
It's more secret than what Meat and I organized.
Not that secret, no.
Make it more secret than that.
Covert. Very covert.
Now, full disclosure here, just because Jen's not feeling super well, I want to take a quick break.
Okay.
I'm going to queue up let's see what I have for a short video. You know what? This is just a minute and a half. It's just an ad for
Well, I'll be back in less than 5 minutes. I'll be back.
Okay, well then we'll play something longer. We'll
Yeah,
play.
listen.
We'll play. Well, you don't want me to play Max the Axe, do you? You hate
don't
when I play
care.
Max the Axe.
I don't care. Just don't play Call of the Wild. That's all it is. Don't play.
Okay, well let's do a different one then. Let's play some Jacob Moon. We'll be back in a few minutes, folks, with
Cool.
our number 2 and number 1 picks from our birth years. Back in a few.
Be right back.
I'm gonna play us out with a song that's for Mr. Eric Litwiller here, and for the good old times of living in Kitchener Waterloo and all that good stuff.
Awesome.
And this is a Steve Earle song. All right,
Yeah.
because I know that Eric is right into Steve Earle, or was.
Big time.
We
Big
both
time.
are.
All
We
right.
both are.
All right, so here it is. It goes something like this. There ain't a lot that you can do in this town. Drive down to the lake and then you turn back around. Go to school so you can learn to read and write. So you can walk into the county bank and sign away your life. I work at the filling station on the interstate. Yeah. Pumping gasoline and counting out of state plates. You ask me how I'm sent to Memphis, son, and where's the nearest beer? Well, they don't even know that there's a town around here. Someday I'm finally gonna let go. I know there's a better way. I wanna know what's over the rainbow. I'm gonna get out of here someday. Now, my brother went to college 'cause he played football. Me, I never even got through high school at all. Got me a 67 Chevy, she's low and sleek and black. Someday I'll put her on the interstate and never look back. Yeah. Someday I'm finally gonna let go. I know there's a better way. Well, I wanna know what's over the rainbow. I'm gonna get out of here someday. I'm gonna get out of here someday.
Wicked.
Beautiful team, man. Awesome.
Oh man, what was that? Summer of 2021?
Oh yeah, at least it might be 3 years ago. It's at least 2.
I think it's 2021. It's a beautiful Gretsch on the wall.
It's a great performance.
And yeah, that's
He literally
Steve Earle.
has. Yeah, it's a great song. And Jacob just has a voice of butter. It's pure. It's just lovely.
It is.
Always.
Okay, so I guess this is Jex Russell's number 2 as I sip from an overly sugary espresso.
I refilled my coffee as well.
Oh, that's sweet. I accidentally dumped in too much sugar.
I can't believe. Okay, we're cruising through these. Okay, here we go. My number 2. I don't have it on record, but I have something that's the same size as a record. Frame here. That's invasion of your privacy.
Let's get a close up of that. Yes.
Look at this.
Good album.
I can't pick a favorite when it comes to Rad. I find those 5 first albums they have on Atlantic Records are just so consistent. They're all so good. But this is up there. If I had to pick a favorite, I don't know what he means by that.
Neither do I, but I feel bad for him because that's never a good thing.
No.
Yeah.
So here I have this little Rad box set here. So let's take
He
out.
has a great looper.
Yeah.
There we go.
There it is on CD. Yes.
The tracks
Lay
right here.
it down. Lay it down.
That's one of the top tracks. Laid Down, You're in Love, Never Use Love, Give It All, Closer to My Heart. And my favorite, which would open side 2 on the LP, Between the Eyes. That is just such a catchy riff, man. I like it a lot. It's so good. What you give is what you get. Got Me on the Line. You should know by now. Dangerous but worth the risk. Like there's no filler on here. If you ask me, this is all killer. And
DeMartini's playing on that album is fantastic.
oh yeah, like I know they clashed heads with Beau Hill, with the producer Beau Hill on all those albums, but I think it was a great fit for the band. Like the production is just perfect. It's not too glossy. It's got that edge. So yeah, I like that combo. So what's he saying now?
He's sharing because Mike told him to stop falling down the stairs. Yeah, that's a pretty logical request. And he's sharing.
And you got to like the Tawny Katane on the cover.
Yeah.
Well, apparently it's not her. I thought it was.
Oh,
her.
I believe it is.
You know what? No, it's her on Out of the Cellar. That's Out of the Cellar that she's on the cover of. And the Rat EP.
I thought she did both.
She did both the Rat EP and Out of the Cellar.
I thought the same thing.
That's what the two was then. Okay, I see.
Yeah, I thought the same thing as you, Meet. And in a video with Tim, I'm like, oh, and here's Tawny Katane, and him and I think Jon Snow were like, no, that's not her. I was like, oh,
yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, it makes sense now because I didn't know that she was on the first one. So there you go.
She was dating like maybe Robin Crosby or somebody like that.
It
I
was
can't
Robin.
remember.
She was dating
Yeah.
Robin Crosby.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, so Meet, this is your number 2 from 69.
Okay, my number 2. This particular artist also released a double album in 1969 that I'm not picking. Because his name is Frank Zappa, and he released a double album called Uncle Meat. That the CD that is in the beginning of every I grab a stack of rock.
Right there.
Thing.
Right there.
Yes, but that's not the one I'm picking because I'm picking what I call, to me, when Frank Zappa became, dare I say, more listenable. If you want to put it that way, I mean, a lot of that early stuff is a little hard to take.
There's your cover model, by the way.
But you can hold up the album now because Hot Rats is a classic album. It's an instrument. It's an instrumental album, and it starts off with what I would call the quintessential beginning for Frank Zappa. The Peaches on Regalia was a lot of people's kind of introduction to Frank Zappa back then, and it's always been a signature song for him. A song like Willie the Pimp, just what a piece of loveliness that it truly is. It almost made my number one just because it's fucking Zappa and it's classic Zappa. Number two is Hot Rats, 1969, baby. Yeah.
Well, there you go. My notes to that would be that Peaches on Regalia was the only Zappa song that was played at my wedding reception.
Well, there you go.
Cool.
Song. That was a song. Yeah. When I wanted to get into Zappa, I picked up the Strictly Commercial.
Yeah, me too.
And which opens
and
up.
And that was the opening track. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the opening track. And I'm like, whoa, I'm liking this, off to a great start. And obviously I love the whole, I love the whole compilation. But yeah, I got to check out the Hot Rats. I've never checked it out in whole.
It's great.
So,
it's lovely.
Sorry, I lost my train of thought here. Something about Zappa. Oh, Zappa, great example of an artist that I stretch myself to try to listen to, but of course, 80% of it is going over my head. And incidentally, somebody on the Rock Candy Facebook page took great offense to it when I said, a lot of progressive rock goes over people's heads. And he's like, well, you're calling people stupid. I'm like, no, I'm referring to my fucking self here, you jackass.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. Like, if anything, you're hinting the opposite, which you're not even really hinting. But if you wanted to take it, that's just.
I was accused of being a gatekeeper, and I'm like, dude, I'm knocking on the door of the gates. My number two is an album that was reissued today. Do you guys know which album that is?
It was actually reissued today.
Yeah, it was reissued today, as in people are posting their pictures of their new arrival today on Facebook. I'll give you a clue. This is the 50th anniversary edition that's coming out today, but I have the 40th anniversary edition of this one right here.
Nice.
Now, the new 50th anniversary edition has a fresh remix by Dweezil Zappa, of all people, because his dad was mentioned in Smoke on the Water is the connection. But this one has a 1997 Roger Glover remix, which is quite good. And basically with these remixes, what they do a lot of the time is they might use alternate guitar solos, alternate vocal takes. Sometimes they keep the song going past the fade. Yeah. So on this remix, this 97 remix, you can hear Ian Gillan say, break a leg, Frank, as he's on the fade out. And the story there is, of course, Smoke on the Water. Frank Zappa and the Mothers of Invention were playing at the casino, which is where the line Frank Zappa and the Mothers were playing at the best place around. Somebody really did shoot a flare gun into the bamboo ceiling. Frank Zappa stops the show and he says, I don't mean to cause any panic or any alarm, but fire! Everybody gets the fuck out of there. The casino burned down. Deep Purple were in the audience that night. And they were supposed to be recording this album at that very venue, which burned to the ground. And Roger Glover woke up the next morning from his hotel room, which was across Lake Geneva from the hotel. So he's looking across the lake at this plume of smoke going over Lake Geneva, and the phrase "smoke on the water" just came to him. And they had this song that they had been farting around with, that they considered a throwaway, and they kind of made up some lyrics about what had just happened. And, they're obviously very spontaneous because, Ian Gillan is just trying to make things fit. The Rolling Truck Stones. It was the Rolling Stones truck that they were using to record. It was a mobile recording studio, the Rolling Stones mobile truck. But he says the Rolling Truck Stones was just outside, which is the truck physically parked outside the hotel. And they would have to go down to the truck to hear playbacks, which apparently was kind of inspirational to them because it made them not want to have to do that very often. And they just kind of got down to business. Pictures of Home is another song that's kind of inspired by their surroundings, the mountains and snow of Switzerland where they were recording. Of course, Lazy, one of the greatest rock jams of all time. Space Truckin', another one of the greatest rock jams of all time. Maybe I'm a Leo. Nice slow grooving. Bam, 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 bam. A song that came up, I believe, on the Peter Kerr show. Bonus tracks that should have been on the album. When a Blind Man Cries, which has been restored to this version. Which leaves Never Before, which was ironically the single and kind of maybe the least impressive song in the whole album. So I have this and I have this here. This is the 40th anniversary LP.
Nice.
And it's gorgeous. I mean, that's a great cover, right?
Yeah.
The front cover there, that's a reflection of them in a piece of aluminum probably or something like that.
Classic. So simple yet so effective.
Now, in case you're wondering, there's a fella here. There he is, the guy with the mustache and the glasses. That's Funky Claude Knobs. Funky Claude was just outside pulling people. He was pulling people out of the rubble. That's Funky Claude right there. So there you go.
And that is a great. That is a great album. Somewhere around 10 years ago, give or take, I had the pleasure of seeing at Massey Hall Deep Purple play Machine Head cover to cover with Steve Morse, of course, and it was lovely to see that whole thing, like
awesome.
The whole album live was it was wonderful.
And it's not
Great
very
album.
often that they would play a song like Never Before today.
Exactly, yeah.
Why would they put that on the set normally? You're right.
And maybe and maybe I'm a Leo, but like both of those,
Yeah.
definitely not ones that you would normally hear at a Deep Purple show. So it was lovely. It was a great album.
Just gonna get caught up on the comments here before we move on. So we got lots of love for Hot Rats. I can't remember what this is a reference to. Might have been to something Zappa. The guy named Uncle Meat choosing a Zappa album. Who knew? Kind of like who knew Harrison would list multiple Blaze albums and albums from multiple years. Well put, Brian. Man, you know what? Darcy's got a heck of a collection, as I am discovering as I gradually get to know him.
Yeah. A lot of
they did
variety. He likes a lot of stuff, which is cool.
Roger Glover did a lot of Deep Purple remixes, and Glenn Hughes also did some for the Coverdale album. So I strongly recommend checking those out. You know, there's a certain authenticity to a Roger Glover remix of Machine Head that a Dweezil Zappa remix can never have, because he doesn't have the artist's intent in mind.
But I'm still curious. I'm still curious about that Dweezil remix, though.
What I'm curious there is, a pair of fresh ears. What's he going to bring to the table that he likes hearing on those master tapes? He might think, this Ian Pace drum part seems to have more swing on this take that wasn't used, or whatever. I'm curious. It's out today. It's an expensive box set to get the version I want, $130. So I'm holding off for now, but I will eventually pull the trigger. What happened to Frank in London later was much worse for him. I don't know what that is. You'll have to tell me in the comments. Metallica did do an incredible cover of Blind Man. Yes, that's on the remachined.
And Jeff Healey also did a cover of that. Did he not? I thought Jeff Healey did. Or played it with Ian Gillan.
He might have played it on the Gillan's Inn that I sent to Jex Russell a few months ago.
I feel, that rings a bell. That rings a bell now that you mention it.
Deep Purple Machine Head along with Perfect Strangers as his first two Deep Purple albums ever. Oh, heard at the same time. Yeah. Well, you know what? That's kind of a neat combo. They kind of dovetail. And we have Marty LeBlanc in the house. Hello, Marty. Happy Easter.
Marty.
Okay, Jex Russell. This is it. This is the final round. This is your number one.
All right, number one. There was someone in the comments before. I think it might have been Robert Z who mentioned doom metal when we were talking about Sabbath earlier. So I'm going to bring a little bit of doom to the table myself. From 85, a perfect album. It had to be my number one. Every time I listen to it, I'm just like, oh, I'm taken away to somewhere else. Well, just by the doominess, the slowness, the distortion, and the speed. I'm talking about Trouble.
Ooh,
oh, wow. I was wondering if that's where you were going.
Yeah, the Skull.
Wow.
If you haven't heard the Skull, this is their second album, and it just it's perfect. I don't even know how to describe it more than that. It's if you like doom metal, if you in the likes of Sabbath and things like that, you're gonna most likely like this album. It's
great vocals too by Eric Wagner.
Yes, absolutely. Oh, perfect vocals. It's I listened to it again this week in preparation. I'm like, is it going to be my number one? And the first track, which is called "Pray for the Dead," one of my favorites. I was just like, yeah, this is number one. This album is incredible. This is a 2013, I think, reissue, and it comes in like a beautiful blue vinyl. It looks terrific. So it matches the cover here. So yeah, I advise anyone who hasn't heard this album or Trouble in general, check it out. And the first album too, Psalm 9, which is it's just great stuff. If you're into doom metal, check out Trouble. You know, if you like Saint Vitus, it's kind of same vibe.
Love Psalm 9, which is awesome. And it's funny. It's kind of ironic that you picked that album because about 5-6 years ago, me and Tom and Haslam and whatever went to some bar in Toronto and saw The Skull. It was Trouble, but they had to change their name for some legal reasons, and it was Eric Wagner was singing. He was looking rough, but he was sounding not rough. He was sounding really good. Like I gotta say, it was really cool. It was a great show. You gotta love Trouble. Love Trouble.
Oh, I'm jealous. I would love to see the Skull. Even like that sounds like a great night. Like you said, Eric, he's still got it. He's still got the voice.
Well, he's dead now, I believe. For a couple of years now. I think he died a couple of years ago. But man, he really can bring it. He can bring it right up until
Yeah, that's what I meant. I didn't express myself properly, but he had the voice up until the end. Yeah.
Henry's comment here now fills in the other side of that blank, which is why Ian Gillan says "break a leg, Frank" on that version of Smoke on the Water. It's because they just heard about this incident. Frank broke his leg, ended up in a wheelchair. So that's why Ian Gillan says "break a leg, Frank" on that particular mix.
Oh, okay.
There you go. Wow, he broke a lot more than his leg. Wow. Anyway, it was meant in good. You know, obviously, you wish somebody to break a leg. That means something good, not something bad. But there you go. That fills in the blanks.
Great number one pick, Jax.
Thank you.
I think I'm like Darcy. He's adding it to his list, and I think I'm going to add it to mine because I've been hearing about Trouble for years, and I may as well.
I don't forget. I believe their third album is self-titled, and that's when Rick Rubin got a hold of them. And there is a boost in sound, and that's a great album. Like the next couple albums, but that Rick Rubin one, it kind of stands alone for how it sounds. So it's really good.
I can't remember that. I'll have to revisit that one. I can't remember it.
I believe it was their third album, and it was just called Trouble.
Okay.
And I think Rubin might have only been on done one album, maybe two. I can't remember that though. Yeah, I don't know.
I didn't even realize he did any albums with Trouble.
Yeah, we definitely did the one. Yeah.
Cool. Sure. All right, Meat. This is your number one at this point.
Okay, my number one. Now there's a lot of and okay. At the end, are we gonna do? I quickly just list off some casual. Some honorable
yeah,
mentions.
go for it. Go for it. Yeah,
but not now. Okay. Number one. I mean, some obvious ones you have no choice but to pick just because. It's funny. I've seen Grant a couple times on some of those shows. It's basically all about the Beatles for him, and I totally get why it's all about the Beatles for him and many, many, many other people. Abbey Road is maybe in my top 5 albums, really, when it comes down to it for creativity. I love it. And I go so far back to that album that I remember my grandparents, they had a collection of albums and everything was James Last and Nana Muscuri and Roger Whittaker, but there was one album, Abbey Road. So every time, wow, I guess I'm putting on Abbey Road again. I mean, that was when I was 10 years old. Now I just love the album. It's
my favorite Beatles album, personally. Although it kind of flip-flops with White sometimes, but I think Abbey Road I prefer because of the incredible Side 2 medley that you yourself covered at one point in a parody.
Well, the whole album we did.
Oh, you-
well,
I thought it was
90%
side
of
2 that you covered,
No,
but
was the
it
whole
doesn't
thing.
matter.
It was the whole thing, and I'll tell you that made I mean, that definitely I made you appreciate it even more. Just to see how much creativity is on that album from beginning to end. There are several perfect songs. I mean, I Want You. She's So Heavy is my favorite Beatles song. Period. And then everything else just sounds completely different than that. So.
Okay, so
Abbey
I know
Road?
that you don't care for a certain band from LA called Motley Crue. What did
No,
you
I
think
don't.
when they added their version of "I Want You, She's So Heavy" to Dr. Feelgood? Whatever that track is on Dr. Feelgood. Track 2 on Dr. Feelgood. It ends with "I Want You, She's So Heavy."
Well, okay. First of all,
Really?
I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't know that because by then I had shut Motley Crue completely out of my life, and I suggest that everybody do that. Shut Motley Crue completely out of your life. It's just it's really going to make you happier and feel healthier too. So anyway.
And I'm as a Motley Crue fan, I find Nikki Sixx to be so goddamn toxic. I at one point they deleted one of my tweets about Mick Mars when I responded to this little argument that they've got going on with Mick Mars, and I'm kind of like more team Mick on that situation. But hey, whatever. Meat knows that I never even watched The Dirt. I never even saw it. So.
Me either.
I didn't, and it was horrible.
Yeah, and that's a 1985 thing right there. Is Theater of Pain, which I thought maybe Jex might have squeezed into his list, but didn't even make a runners up.
No, as much as I like the Crew, Theater of Pain is meh for me.
Yeah,
Even Crew fans don't like that album.
Yeah.
I was told that I had a dead cat in my ears when I gave that a negative review. I find Motley Crue fans to be some of the most toxic as well, just like Nikki. I get more trash reviews, comments on my Motley Crue reviews than most bands. Dead cat in your ears is probably my favorite, but I hope people don't think I have a dead cat in my ears when I tell them what my number 1 pick is. Sorry, Jax, did you?
Yeah, before we go on to your number 1, just to take it back to Abbey Road real quick.
Yeah.
I gotta say one track I love on it, and it never gets mentioned, probably because it's so freaking quick. It's like 20 seconds long. It's Her Majesty, which closes up the album. It's so catchy. It's so good. I always play it. Well, maybe not on vinyl, but if I'm playing it like on CD, I'll like repeat like 5 times just to satisfy that, just to scratch that itch, because it's such a great little brief song, and that acoustic. Yeah, Her Majesty doesn't get enough love.
It's a neat little coda to that whole side,
Yeah, no, it
There's
is
so much good stuff on that. It's funny. So as you guys know, I've been listening into and reviewing the Gene Simmons Vault box set, and there's no artist he cites more as an influence than the Beatles, and there's no artist that audibly shows up more in that box set in the ears than the Beatles. And he's talking about how Paul McCartney, She Came In Through the Bathroom Window, inspired his song called like Take Off Your Slippers, I think it's called. And some of these Gene Simmons songs are so achingly bad, and I cannot wait to start rolling out these reviews, which is going to happen no later than I think next week. But man, I've never heard the Beatles inspire shit like this so badly before. And there's a few songs where I do the same joke where I say, Paul and John, they wouldn't even give the song to Ringo to sing.
Yeah, I seem to have missed the time that John Lennon was talking about putting his log in a fireplace.
Right. Yeah, I missed that line as well. It was an outtake from, I don't know. Anyway, what's with Paul walking without shoes? I don't know the actual answer to that, but of course people thought that it meant it was a symbol that he was dead.
Okay, so I can kind of chime in.
hear something like that.
I can chime in on that kind of. From what I recall, it's been ages. I heard the explanation. Right. It's supposed to represent like a funeral of sorts. Like John Lennon here, all in white. He represents, I think, I don't know if it's supposed to be the church. Ringo is the priest. Paul is the corpse. That's why his eyes are closed and he's not wearing shoes. Okay. I never heard of a corpse being barefoot, but I don't know. Maybe it's a UK thing. I don't know. And then George is the gravedigger.
The
Sorry,
what?
what is he? He looks like
The
Jesus.
grave digger.
Oh, now, Jack, is that an actual thing? Was that the actual inspiration, or is that just an interpretation?
It could be. That's what I heard years ago. I probably saw
Okay.
it on the internet. So is that actual what it is? I don't know. Don't
Because
quote
you know
me.
what? I look at that cover, and the very first thing I think is, I think I've seen John Lennon wearing white suits before. I think he likes wearing white suits, and of course, George Harrison's wearing all corduroy.
But it's all denim. Isn't it?
Funny.
Vince
Yeah.
Neil looks like he robbed him.
It
Sounds okay. Rogers on top point today. Paul wearing shoes or forming wings. That's funny. Manic Frustration, the next album after Sykes. We're talking about Trouble here. It was Rick.
Okay.
Rubin
Oh, yeah.
as well.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
Manic Frustration. That's one I think that's before. Yeah, that's right.
Okay, I'm gonna take a sip of my ginger ale here, and then we're gonna.
That's a great album too.
Get on with some number one action here. This is an album that I've played a number of times this week. It's also been recently reissued, and I have the reissue. This is an album that, even though, I wasn't listening to this kind of music when I was 6 months old, I do have a special bond with it. I got it when I was, I guess I would have been 17, and I was heading into my final year of high school. So this album resonated with me because there's songs about it. There's songs about that experience of having friends in high school, and you're like, keep in touch, guys. Don't forget the group. Don't become a stranger or nothing, which is ultimately what happens. So, my number one is one of my favorite albums of all time.
Oh,
I'm certain that this made that Alice Cooper list that one day.
of course. Yeah.
School's out, and there it is. There's a better focus. I love how the band has carved their names into the desk. Me and Jimmy ain't never going to confess. We carved some dirty words in our desk. There's a number of songs here about school, but then there's other ones that just strike me as unrelated, such as My Stars. But I just love this album. Every single song. I wouldn't change a thing about it. There's an instrumental grand finale at the end that sounds like the end credits to a movie. And it has these blasting trumpets and anthems. It's all Bob Ezrin. It's all Bob Ezrin, but there's this great like ba 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 this melody going on the horns. There's a lot of cool piano playing on this as well. The song Public Animal No. 9 has this cool bopping piano. And I'm certain that's Bob Ezrin.
Yeah.
I'm certain that Bob Ezrin has a lot more writing influence with bands like Alice Cooper and Kiss than the band members generally give him credit for. This deluxe edition came out last year, and it has a live disc, Miami, Florida, May 27th, 1972, which is like, I think it might even be just like weeks after the album was released. And it also has 4 single versions. Actually, alternate takes too. Alma Mater, alternate version. Elected, early take. Gutter Cat, single version. And School's Out, single version. Gutter Cat being the West Side Story song. And he does the whole, when you're a jet, yeah, da, 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 da. I don't know all the words. But he does the whole West Side Story thing because he is such a huge West Side Story fan. Did you guys know that he is?
I didn't.
No,
Yeah.
no, I didn't know.
There's like a West Side Story rock covers album, and I'm pretty certain Alice Cooper does a track on there. I know Steve Vai does.
Oh yeah.
But this is just so much fun. I think if I had to pick my favorite song in here, it's probably Public Animal No. 9. But every song's a winner. It doesn't matter which version you get. I know that the only reason I have this is because Tim Derling would give me shit if I gave away my early CD pressings. At this point, he's given me shit enough times for giving away early CD pressings. So may as well keep both, right, Jax?
Might as well keep both.
And
But yeah,
that's my list.
as was the case with many Alice Cooper LPs, when they were first released, you got the full experience because you got like the desk opened up. I think it even had like the legs, like you could stand it up, and there was panties inside of it. And
I'm not sure about the legs. I have you can't see it behind me, but I have the old school box set, I think it's called, and
Okay.
it comes in like a open top desk that you actually physically open with hinges.
oh, nice.
I can't tell you exactly what the original album came with, but I think there was like a pair of paper panties in there somewhere.
Panties, yeah.
Yeah. It was the era of giving you just a little bit of extra inside an album, and Kiss really kind of took off with that as well.
Yeah. Big time.
Yeah. So that's my number one. I hope that didn't suck, everybody.
No.
Oh, I can wait. I can hear that somebody's calling from Rogers, and Jen's already kind of getting ornery with them. So there you go. The vinyl cover, you can actually open the desk and look at Martin. This guy knows his stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, wait. It looked like Brian called it. There you go. Brian called it before I said it. Oh, and we have here quick search just now claims Paul's shoes were too tight that day. Jex's version is good too, though. More
well, it's not my version. It's just what I heard. But yeah,
I'm not calling. No, it's not you, Roger. Okay. All right. Well, folks, that was a hell of a
honorable mention.
Honorable mentions. Okay. Yes.
Dex, you're up.
Oh, me first.
I don't have any, so you guys do.
Okay. Okay. I'll try to be quick.
I already said Talking Book by Stevie Wonder.
I have a bunch, but I'll be quick on them.
Yeah.
All shoes are too tight if you're a ghost. I don't know what that means.
Oh, I see that album. That's Dio.
Oh,
that's Dio.
Sacred Heart. Again, it could have made the list, but I had to pick and choose, and so I'm mentioning it here.
Rockin'.
Is that the last album with Vivian?
Yes, sir. It is.
It is. I couldn't remember for sure.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Yep.
So
that was again the new Dio album. The year that I was getting into metal, Rock and Roll Children was the video on Much Music.
Yeah.
The guy sold his guitar. He got a regular job, and he had to invest some money in a uniform as a parking lot attendant. And his girlfriend tells him he looks pathetic, and that's how the video starts. Is the guy and this girlfriend having an argument over him selling his guitar to work in a parking lot.
That's the video to what song?
Rock and Roll Children.
I'm gonna go watch that now.
Yes, do. Yes, it's great.
I haven't thought about that in a long time. Holy cow! Yeah,
I think it's with that album. Isn't that he had that live EP?
Intermission.
Was that with the Sacred Heart tour?
That followed Sacred Heart, and that's what's
going to be right in that time. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought. All right, sorry. Second one, got some Keel there, which I saw in the background of the Thick as a Brick video you showed.
I had that.
This is a classic. Right, the only Keel I have.
Only Keel I have.
But it's what an album though. Keel. Of course, this one could have made the list. I took it out in favor of Asylum. I was like ping-ponging back and forth. I'm like,
but I would argue one of the best album covers of '85 because of the opening Manhole gimmick.
Yeah, that is the one with Leader of the Pack, right?
Leader of the Pack.
It's where something. I mean, one of the biggest missteps I've ever seen in music history.
But
because they were huge. They were in everybody's rear view mirror and front mirror, and then all of a sudden they do that and they ruin it.
But don't forget they covered that song on the Rough Cuts EP way back years earlier.
Oh, I know, but
you knew that, okay?
But the highlight and do that, they killed them. They killed their push. They really did.
What ruined it, I think, is they put it as I think it's track 2, isn't it?
No.
Put it at the end of an album, like that way. At that point, it's like, oh, okay, there's a cover at the end, no big deal. But the fact it was right there on the second track, it's a weird fit.
Very.
Yeah, that's
what I will say though. It has one of the best album intros of all time, which is "Twisted Sister, Come Out and Play."
Oh, the Warriors.
Yeah, I think that's funny. That's one of the reasons I like it so much. Is that song is so.
That opening song is so good, and then Dee Snider just goes with that scream.
Oh yeah,
I like "Come Out and Play." I really do.
The Fire Still Burns, Kill or Be Killed. There's some decent tracks.
I Believe in You. Oh, there's good stuff on that album. They're more deep. It's more a deep cut album though.
Yes,
it's not like a live concert staple album.
Yeah, Starting the Disease, album number 2. This could have been my list, but I had to take it out. But I love this is up there for my favorite Anthrax albums. This again so raw. And finally, I know
it's first Belladonna album.
Yes, correct. Yeah. And then Mike's not going to approve, but
nice. I remember.
Now, hold on. Why is that readable?
I have the reissued, which is it's actually I'd rather have the
mirror,
the original with the mirror, but yeah,
That's right. Yeah.
I didn't realize that. I don't know if I've ever seen that version of it.
Yeah,
That's a pretty good album.
Oh, I like it a lot. This was a
Not
good
bad.
kind of reunion album, you know?
Yeah, that essentially.
It's
that.
right before they got violated by Desmond Child. It's right. It's right before.
Right. Well, I think I'm in the minority when I say I kind of prefer this to Permanent Vacation. You know, I think it's a better album.
I do.
But,
well, maybe I don't. I don't know. It's a discussion for another day. We already did that show.
So, wow, that's interesting. One of my honorable mentions that almost laid my list is sitting there in the 72 one.
Oh,
interesting.
All right, well, that's it for my honorable mention. So go ahead, Mr. Meat.
Well, I'll just quickly go that one of my honorable mentions was a Chicago Transit Authority, which it's interesting because not many artists ever have started off their career with double albums. Like their first album comes out, it's a double album. Chicago,
we had this conversation.
Yes. Chicago's first 3 albums, if not 4, were double albums. Like that is called output. That's pretty amazing. But anyway, I'll just I'm gonna have to read them off because I don't have any pictures of anything. Clouds by Joni Mitchell is an album I love. Cloud 9 by the Temptations. Trout Mask, a Replica by Captain Beefheart.
Another double album.
The Flying Burrito Brothers. The Gilded Palace of Sin. That's a great album. Yes's first album, Yes, self-titled, which it's pre-Steve Howe. I mean, it's still got the mighty Chris Squire, but I don't love that album. I just like it, so it's the only reason why it wouldn't make my list as it was. Jeff Beck, Beckola, Herbie Hancock, a Fat Albert Rotunda, which is a great album. Anything else here? Oh, of course, but in the Court of the Crimson King by King Crimson, which came close, but again, that's not the era of King Crimson I truly love. I just don't love their approach when it comes to that, and I think that's it. I think I cover. Oh, and the band's first album was in 1969. There's a lot of amazing songs and hits off that album. There you go.
Nice.
Excellent. Wow. What a show. What a show. Jack said he was expecting this to be one of the best of all time. And I think maybe we passed that bar.
It's fun. Well,
we're up there for sure.
Well, it's good that we did the covert thing correctly.
Yeah. Success.
I'm sitting here and it's going to take me a while to kind of like come down from the high. But I've also had an espresso and a large. So, and I'm going to Tim's in a few minutes. So,
jeez, you're not going to sleep tonight.
Oh my God! Let's put Roger's honorable mentions on there. How can I laugh tomorrow when I can't even smile today? Suicidal tendencies. Operation Mindcrime. Wait a second. I thought you told me you hadn't even heard Operation Mindcrime. You might have to correct me on that. Straight Outta Compton is a pretty ballsy pick. And Bon Jovi, New Jersey is another ballsy pick. And that's an album I love from '88 personally. And I had a discussion with Peter Kerr on that one. We did a show on Slippery When Wet. And he was kind of like pissing all over Bon Jovi, rightfully so, I think, in some instances. But I was trying to convince him that New Jersey might be worth a listen. And I don't think Peter Kerr has listened to it yet.
What is How I Laugh at Tomorrow?
No, I think he's saying, how can I laugh tomorrow when I can't even smile today by Suicidal Tendencies?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Because he's got that Suicidal Tendencies hat that he wears.
Yeah, I remember that album.
Thank you, Darcy. Is Tim's open? Yes, they are in Ontario anyway.
Yeah, here too. I got a Tim's right next to my office. It's definitely open.
So he's listened to Part of Mindcrime, which is now Part of Mindcrime is now on his runners-up list. He's pulling a Harrison. Thank you, Henry. Thank you for watching. Happy Easter, everyone. And Big Pink is his favorite band. Mine is Stage Fright.
So I have 3 concerts coming up in a month and a half, and I'm kind of excited.
Okay.
Starting on April 21st, I am going to see for the second time in my life the mighty King's X in Toronto.
Dude, I love King's X.
I've listened to their album, the first one they did in like 14 years, which has been really good. And I'm very much looking forward to seeing. Like, it was funny because Queensryche is playing in Kitchener the
With
same
Armored
night.
Saints.
And me and Michael Morwood and Dave Haslam and Sam, we just decided I'd rather see King's X because it's the three original guys.
Yeah.
They've all almost died in the last 5 years. I just gotta do it. So that's gonna be fun.
Oh.
Then I'm going to see in town a death metal legend named Abath.
Oh,
He used to be in a band called Immortal, and somehow he is playing at a little place called The Hub downtown Kitchener that is really tiny. And it was like, what? I mean, I'm not even really a death metal fan. I appreciate it, but as soon as I'm like, I gotta go there and get washed over by evil metal and people watch. It's gonna be fun. Like I can't wait for that.
So you're going to be able to spot Metal Roger's beard easily.
Oh, there you
go. Look for that guy.
I just can't wait today. And then the third one, some bowling alley in Mississauga, supposedly. I don't know much about it, but I'm going to see the band Saga, which I've never seen, and I'm really looking forward to. And the openers are Harlequin, which is going to be fun.
Yeah.
And the band called Images in Vogue, which is like a new wave band.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and so that's gonna be fun.
That's cool. Oh man, Abbott, like the way he talks, Abbott, it's like this, like that dude is hilarious. Like if you watch interviews, he's like they call him the death metal Jack Black, and it's because he's so animated. Like it's
really. I know nothing about the Abath thing. I just know it's going to be. I looked at what set list they're playing because Dr. Dave is an Immortal fan, and I guess he plays like 5 or 6 covers, of Immortal. But I can't wait. I don't know what I know what to expect, but in another way, I just don't know what to expect. I'm going to love it for sure.
No, he's a cool guy. You're going to some great shows there, Meat. Like King's X, I'm very, very jealous. I've been a fan for a long time, and I've never seen them.
Well, it's funny because the only time that I have seen them is that I was at the legendary El Macombo. It turns out that Martin Popoff was there, which we learned while doing that show with him. And also in that, I'll never forget it. All of a sudden, I'm standing. I'm like, who are these guys? Like, these huge guys with huge hair standing here. Yeah, Dimebag Darrell and Vinnie Paul, and it turned out that the whole band was there watching King's X. So that was just wow. Yeah.
Wow,
neat.
That's incredible.
And aren't both bands from Texas?
I don't know. But
King's X are from Texas.
I know that King's X, they're like a musician's band kind of thing, and they get a lot of respect from music. And I know that Pantera, they're like junkies of King's X, like so or were junkies. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Martin Popoff might be there. You never know, but I'm able to say hi to him. I think it's the first time King's X has played Toronto in 15 years.
Yeah, would have been, because the last time would have been the XV album, which was ages ago. Mm-hmm. They're from Missouri. There you go. You're welcome. All right, Mr. Russell, what do you got coming up in the coming days and weeks?
Man, you know what? I don't think I have anything lined up, really. I think this was my last show, and I don't really. I'm kind of in a dry spell right now, so sorry. Nothing to report as of now. But
I can report that jexcalibur.wordpress.com is where you can get a great spoiler-free review of the new Ghostbusters movie Frozen Empire, because Jex went last weekend with Martin LeBlanc, and it's a great review that reveals nothing of any spoilery nature. So check him out at jeffcaliber.wordpress.com. I know that you and I will be doing various projects as the spring begins and cottage season opens. We have some ideas for, well, we just have some ideas is the point. And yeah, I guess that's it for now. I got nothing really in the bag either. I'm recording next weekend with Peter Kerr. So next weekend will be a rerun. It'll be another Mike and Aaron Go to Toronto compilation. And I've got another recording lined up with, why am I having a brain fart? Grant. We have that project with Grant that I am working on.
Top secret.
Top secret?
Oh, God, yes, of course. We had to throw back to that, didn't we, you fucking asshole? And Martin LeBlanc, there you go. Peace out, brother. So, yeah, that's about Meat just got the joke. Yeah.
Well, see, now it's funny because I was debating, should I say this or should I not? And now I can just say, Mike, I was head over heels with the aspect of coming back to the Grab Stack of Rap. Sorry. It had to be done. It had to be done.
I don't know if I'm laughing more at the joke or him laughing at his own joke. I love it all.
No, for those who don't know, don't worry about it. And for those who do, joke's on me. On that note, we will give the Meat Man the privilege of picking the song because we always like to go out in a song, and I don't think he wants one with him singing. But
I think you got to pick the most impressive one, which is The Victim of Changes. That's the best one.
Okay, that is an impressive one.
Like amazing vocals and playing guitar at the same time. It's crazy.
I was gonna say it was between that or Got the Time because we talked about Anthrax a little bit, but yeah, we can go with Victim of Changes.
Got the Time is not as good, but Victim of Changes, wow, that's one of the greatest recordings I've ever seen of a cover.
Okay.
One incredible vocals. Yeah.
So happy Easter, everybody. Good Friday. I wish you all a safe and happy weekend. Uncle Meat, would you like to tell us a little bit about this song before we go out on Victim of Changes?
This is the quintessential Judas Priest song done by a guy named Dave Zook. They were called Clockwork Orange at the time. It's just an incredible vocal performance. And the fact that he can play guitar while he's doing it. Oh, and on rhythm guitar is Rob Zabo that I recently had an exchange with. The Groove Daddies albums are now on Spotify, which is really exciting because that's been long overdue. So is
Plasticine, which is why I can no longer play Bones and Clothes because every time I try to monetize it, well, actually, it's not a bad thing. Every time I try to monetize it, the money goes to them, which is fine. But I don't play Bones and Clothes anymore because it's on Spotify. Yeah,
but I stick around after this and just watch some pretty damn exciting vocals, I think. So,
yeah, indeed. This is an old classic that we've been playing for years, and it's always nice to bring it back. And there's going to be a lot of people today that are watching that haven't seen this before because we used to play it more in the little Brain Train days.
Yeah,
I don't think
so. This will be you've never seen it. Okay, so this is going to be new for Jex. Stick around.
It's one of my favorite Judas Priest songs. I will add. So I'm very
in ways, it's on par with Halford, like in his prime, and you'll know what I mean.
You'll hear it. You'll hear it.
I'm excited.
Okay. So once again, what could you want than an Easter with Judas Priest? This is Clockwork Orange with Victim of Changes from Jex Russell, jexcaliber.wordpress.com. Uncle Meat,
good Friday.
No WordPress address, and me, and you can find me on WordPress as well. Happy Easter, everybody.
See you, everyone.
Rock and roll.
A little bit of Judas Priest.
you are driving me insane. Leaving you kisses your wheel to laugh and gets right to my brain. You try to fight your way through life, try to get to new direction. Another woman's got a plan. She can get you lose infection. Oh yeah. Takes enough, but you ain't got so. Things are better when she's a fool. Take another look around, you're not going anywhere. You realize you're getting old, and no one seems to care. You try to fight your way again, try to get to love. Another woman's got a man. She can get you down. Takes enough, but you ain't got so. Things are better when she gets through. You man, fooling with some. I want to know what is the one. Get up, get out. You know you really feel it. I've had enough. I've had enough. Good God, fuck me. Was wonderful when she was mine, and she was wonderful when she was mine. Changes come over her body. She doesn't suit me anymore. Changes come over her body. She doesn't suit me anymore.